Hi everyone, I recognize you from last night. Everybody got to pull and play and be introduced to the actual Flux Drive operating, which was probably a little surprising to most since nobody's ever seen this type of device used before. And I really did get to this based on problems that I had seen in marine propulsion for the last, actually I've been involved now since 1980 when I was a first cadet on one of the training ships and then went into the Navy and watched problems with electronic drives, starting with DC motor drives, SCRs, and harmonics associated with those, and then moved into the AC drive market and watched bearing failures, harmonic distortion, navigation system shut down, clocks run fast, and all sorts of other issues such as air conditioning, space for these filters to get rid of harmonics, and things that most of you probably haven't had to deal with at that level yet. And when I saw the ability to move toward and utilize these new permanent magnets that were developed in the mid-'80s, it gave some unique opportunities to create a drive using magnets and induction motor theory rather than theory of eddy currents, which had been utilized and provided speed control before. So what came out of this was a rotor with magnets in a can, which is an induction rotor, and we really looked at the ability to run this without creating the harmonics. And of course here we have the pros and cons of eddy current drives, but at the same point in time we can look at eddy currents generating heat, eddy currents generating losses, and for people familiar with motors, you try to design away from eddy currents, hence the design of which we came up with. When I really looked at the theory itself, it was really a challenge to incorporate this new concept. And I knew that you couldn't take an induction rotor and pull it out of an AC stator because you'd burn the windings up in that motor. But since our magnets themselves are always on, or we'll call them DC magnets, therefore that problem went away. And we proceeded down that path, started in the garage, which many people do, I think, with running these, and progressed to designs that increased size and horsepower and grew to where we are today. By sliding the rotor in and out of the can, the ASD was kind of born, and everybody got to see that last night, with the result being pretty much perfect speed control based on positioning of that handle for the condition that you want the pump to run at. And there's many more benefits, and then George can kind of move through here with the rest of them that we'll list. And many of you, thanks to your input, have actually added to some of the things that I think we can do with the technology, moving into other directions other than just the motor pump and other actuation options that we now, and I can see more clearly after your input over the last 2 days. So thanks a lot for that, and here's George to move on with this. Thanks.
Thank you, Jim.